organization stopped. It's like stop the oil pipeline permanently, something like that. So if people in East Texas weren't actively joining the organization, they at least weren't coming out in opposition of the protesters who were there. They were being really respectful of why people were taking this action. So the action was supposed to happen in May. That's when the pipeline was supposed to happen. It didn't actually happen until September. And in that period of time, they built 6 tree sits. So like currently on David Daniels' property, there's like this tree village. And they also built this 100-foot wall, like that is a blockade. That's like 100 foot of the easement that the pipeline is trying to be put through. So they just like blocked the easement, right? So they have a whole lot of infrastructure there. What's going on currently is that the industry has, we're not sure what this means, but the industry has circumvented the blockade. They like cut around it. It's unclear whether or not they can actually build the pipeline around that swath that they just cut because they've already ordered the pipe to like fit in particular pieces of land. So folks are kind of in an unsure situation of what's going to happen with this huge tree village. But the thing is that the pipeline isn't just happening on David Daniels' land. When this happened, a whole bunch of East Texas landowners were like, come and do actions on my land, please. So like Nick tells of like how people were hosting like 60 to 70 activists coming in on their, like sitting in their backyards and saying, oh, don't leave, like stay here, don't leave. And so these are 2 East Texas folks. They're landowners or business owners who locked down to an excavator. What else happened? Oh, skip over that story. This is another kid named Alejandro, who's also from Fort Worth, I think, who on another piece of the tar sands pipeline route buried his arm in 700 pounds of concrete. So that's what's underneath the ground. And like put this piece of plywood on there to like prevent the cops from getting him out really easily. And like he stayed there for 7 hours while the cops like had to bust him out with like barbed.
What was said in that time period? That's amazing.
It was kind of weird. Like the cops came in and built a tent around him so the supporters couldn't see and interact with him. We don't really know. But he went to jail and then got out of jail and came home. But anyway, so we're seeing this, and like the thing is that what's cool about the East Texas blockade, this Texas blockade, is that it's kind of interrupting this narrative that we're kind of like playing into a little bit in the poster about that, oh, we're these like young mobile activists that have so much privilege that we can go and get arrested for folks who can't. And what's going on in East Texas is that we're seeing this incredible relationship being built where East Texans, like Eleanor Fairchild, are getting arrested with people. They're like, we are in the trenches with you. We can do this together. And this is the PR spokesman for tar sands blockade. He was served 900 pages of lawsuit on one day. There's like 6 different lawsuits. So the company is coming out really against, like they're trying really hard to stop this burgeoning explosion that's going on in East Texas. So they're suing everybody. They're suing the activists, and then they're going around to all the East Texas landowners and being like, if you speak out in support of tar sands blockade, if you host people on your land, if you do anything that supports this blockade, we are going to sue you. We're going to take your home.
The most disgusting thing about that is that it's an international corporation that's using eminent domain to justify their action. I mean, it's like letting Nazis take other citizens, whether you believe in property rights or not. Like it's totally disgusting.
Yeah.
In that sense.
I didn't get into it, but we do mention that like in order to get eminent domain, like these companies are not the government. They're companies using eminent domain, and the only thing they need to do to get that power is check a box on one form, and nobody checks them. Like it's like you have to be a common carrier of crude oil, which means that you're carrying the oil pipeline is like you are carrying more than your company's oil. But the Railroad Commission is who they have to file this piece of paper through for some reason. Like doesn't check that. You just check the box, and then you get to use eminent domain.
OPEC is based on the Texas Railroad Commission, so like all of that there's a lot there, like historical.
Cool. Anyways, I want to be respectful of people's time. So people are getting, like, the company is really coming out threatening severe repression against people. But what Nick is seeing, we're seeing in East Texas is that people don't care. Activists are like, you're gonna throw felony charges at me. I don't care. Put me on that list. I'm going. And the landowners are on the same boat. You're gonna sue me? I don't care. Put me on that list. And And there's a lot of chance, like the legal framework, how it's set up in Texas is very, in favor of private property rights. So like the chances of fighting a lot of this and like getting it expunged is actually very high in East Texas. So it's scary, and people are really coming together against it. And there's a lot of they have a high chance of getting winning. There we go, winning. High chance of winning. Okay, so those are kind of the main things we wanted to highlight. There's also like the first action camp against coal mining in Alaska happened. A lot of folks from West Virginia went and we went to bees, and people from West Virginia went and cross-pollinated and helped train these folks to like put together their first action against a proposed coal mine in Alaska. We also just recently, we called it the Summer of Solidarity, but obviously it's continuing on into October. British Columbia saw the largest action against the Enbridge pipeline. And this is a highly First Nations-led struggle in Canada. It's I can't say their name, but a native group, a First Nations group there is leading the forefront of this struggle. And it was this huge protest. And just 2 days ago, we saw another action. Rainforest Action Network and some folks and some grandmothers went and shut down Bank of America. Bank of America's shareholder meeting. They shut down 4 different branches of Bank of America in Charlotte just 2 days ago. So we're seeing this building momentum continue. It's not ending with the summer. Okay, so that's some of the stories of Summer of Solidarity. I hope that leaves you all as excited as it leaves me. Thank you all so much for your time. In order for you, do you have a question?
Just a quick announcement. There's a group of folks who want to shut down PNM and their San Juan coal power facility. There's 4 stacks. The governor and PNM have, I believe, tentatively agreed to shut down 2 of them, and we want them to go all the way and shut down all 4 stacks, which
Susana
is...
Martin is not on board with it. New Energy Economy, as well as other organizations, are on board. PNM has spoken to say that is a possibility, whereas Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, is not. And